Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to Market Recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Tuesday, October 20th. We had a fun, little exciting day. A lot of opportunities here for some small trades, except for if you were long crude oil. Well, that thing just really took off. How about that? Fun day all around. Just getting the notification within the last 30 seconds that Pelosi says she's optimistic for a deal. I'm excited to see that. It'd be nice to see something go through. We know we are approaching that, not just the furlough mark, but the layoff mark for a lot of these airlines, October 31st. So if they can get something in before then, that would be, I think, beneficial for everyone. We definitely want to see Americans being able to pay their bills and whatnot. We also have confirmation that the Senate will have the hearing for, let me verify the exact date, for confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett on Monday, October 26th. Definitely worth keeping our eyes on and paying attention to what happens there. And that's kind of our major news here. Looks like Netflix just posted their earnings. Missed big time earnings per share. Stock is down $40 already from our close on the other day, from yesterday, and down 6.3%. So big break there on the miss for Netflix. Kind of surprised, you think, with everyone just being at home. A lot of Netflix to be watched, but they beat their revenue. Revenue was $6.4 billion versus $6.38 billion. So they did beat just slightly there. Level 2, I'm glad to see you had a good day there. I'm hoping you were catching S&Ps, long 30s and short those 50s all day long, basically, was the opportunity there. Really glad to see that level 2. Awesome. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at these charts, see what we all had happen going on here today, and go from there. All right, as always, we start with crude oil, which broke out here today. Took a while. Finally broke off of 60. We broke off of 60, gave us our chance. Remember this morning we said we can look at 80. 80 is a price point to look for some opportunity. It gave us a little bit of a pullback there to 80. And there we go. That's where we could have gotten the run to settlement price. And then we said, let's watch 28, 27, right in that range. Let's watch there, see what happens. Market blew through, slight pullback. Now, here's a great opportunity to talk about letting your winners run. We had a profit target up here at 27 or 28 right there. It's kind of where we were looking this morning. We said, look to see this market run up there. On this initial pullback, here's our point where we can say, I'm going to bring my stop just on the other side of that 27. We maybe put it 24 or 25, somewhere right around there. We could say, look, I'm going to trail my stop to here on this pullback and say, if it gets stopped out, no problem. I'm locking in some great profits. If not, I'm going to let this thing run. And we started to see things tapering off here at the end of the day. And you know what we would have done? We would probably brought that trailing stop somewhere up here, about that 50-ish mark. We could have locked in some nice profits here today. So good opportunities in the crude oil. Speaking of crude oil, don't forget tomorrow we've got crude inventory, so keep that one in mind. Now, let's roll the S&Ps. Level 2, we know you had a good day there. We talked about it this morning. We liked 30, and we liked the 50s, and obviously level 2, I see you got 66 as well. S&P's looking to settle a little bit higher here for the first time in a while. Multiple chances as this market came down to 30. Multiple checks. Buy 30s, sell 50. Buy 30, sell 50. Market came back down to 50. As we rolled in, we got that decision making here. Are we looking to see 50 hold or break through? Either way, great opportunity here. This market ran back down to 30. So stays relatively inside. Starting to maybe started to show, I should say, that it wanted to push higher, but we really haven't. We're resolving to the downside here. We'll see what happens after market close with the possibility of the optimism that's coming out of DC with a possible deal. Hopefully something gets worked out. That'd be nice to see. Markets probably be pretty happy with that. Speaking of stimulus, how did it affect the NASDAQ? NASDAQ gave us a little bit more defined bottom side, right? Multiple checks down towards settlement price. We bounced off a settlement, rallied higher. What were a couple of the prices we were talking about here today? We were looking at 26, right? 726 is kind of that area we were looking, which happened to be today's value area high. We were looking at 26, and we said if we can get through 26, maybe we can get to 80. Got to 80, broke right off of 80, and broke right back down to, yep, you guessed it, settlement price right down here at 11,650. So some good opportunities in both these equity markets. Really hope you guys were able to take advantage of a couple of those. We talked about them this morning, and I know it's easy to talk about, and it's harder to take advantage of, but more time focusing in these markets, we'll all be able to capitalize on these. Now gold caught that little bit of a life. Market opened up and it was really choppy in the beginning. Couldn't really pick any sort of direction it wanted to go. Started to push lower. Came right down to 1900. Moved through by about 2 ticks. 1900, we talked about it this morning. We said maybe 99, but really let's look at 1900. We bounced off of 1900 and we rallied, and boy did we rally. We got right to settlement price up here at 1170. We blew through our 03 level. We blew through our 07 level. We blew through settlement price. We extended and continued higher, and we just barely missed 20. We just barely missed that weekly kickoff high up here at 1920. Great opportunity, though, right off of our 1900 level. 2 ticks through. Great chances there. I know it's a tough trade to want to get in on at 19, but we saw this thing start to recover really well. So maybe getting in here kind of by 03, 04, and we can say, look, momentum is showing. Buyers are coming in really strong here. Let's see if we can get this thing going. So you didn't have to get in at 19. And maybe we can see an opportunity closer to that 03, 04 mark. All right, next, let's go ahead and look at the currencies. Kind of like we expected here with the yen. Yen extended a little bit higher, but really just patterned into a range. No surprise there. Extended actually a little bit higher than we were talking. But nonetheless, it decided that range for us, and our chance was kind of here towards the end of the day to catch that short down. You got to be patient. When it starts to fall into new locations, areas we hadn't seen it trade at in a while, we definitely want to be thinking about being patient. Let this market tell us where our levels are. Let it define a little bit of a range, and then from there we can say, now I can make some sort of decision here, and that's all you have to do. You just got to be patient. Don't feel like you got to catch the first or the second move, but maybe that third or the fourth move is where you're going to find those opportunities. So things to keep in mind when we're looking at these markets. Lastly, let's go ahead and look at the yen, which, guys, we sat here this morning. We drew out our channel. Market bounced right off of that channel. Incredibly nice. And it extended to and through that high side of the channel. If we were to, now that we're getting more and more touches, we're actually going to be able to adjust our channel. We can come right up to here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5 touches on this channel. Those are things that we want to look for. Multiple touches, multiple points, checkpoints of that market approaching to and moving away from those levels. That's what we want to be paying attention to. Market right now, what we were looking at here this morning, market bounced really well off this low side and extended all the way up to, how about that, yesterday's settlement price right up here at 94.90. So some good opportunities in these markets across the board here today. I hope you guys all had a really good day. It is only Tuesday, so we got a long week ahead of us. So if today wasn't the best, that's all right. Felix, good afternoon. Subconscious, James, massive day for level 2. Awesome. Norman, good to see you. Miguel, from what time do you draw the profile in gold. So gold opens up right around 7:20. So I tend to draw it from 7 till 1 p.m. Central Time. Those are the hours that I'm looking at on gold. It's really, for me, I just try and pay attention to and being consistent to that 7 o'clock mark. I know some people started at 7:30. I want to get that first 10 minutes. And if I'm running 30-minute charts, I just started at 7. Awesome, guys. Like I said, okay, here we go. More Netflix information coming. They missed on their subscriptions. They missed their estimates. There are a lot more streaming platforms out there, but I can tell you I have been utilizing Netflix, found some really good new shows. Lately, I've been watching the show Shooter. It's pretty interesting. I'm enjoying that one. Anyhow, I digress. Yeah, Steve, sure, I can definitely do that. Let me get this thing pulled back up. Steve wants to see how to draw profiles on the TS Trader. So let me pull it right back up, and I'll show you guys here. Alrighty. Let's see if it will pull up. It's working. It's trying. Here we go. All right, let's see if we're moving a little slow here. I'm trying to reload this platform. It's taking a minute. I've had some internet issues here today, so here we go. It looks like it's starting up. Loading my workspace. All right. We'll just go right into crude oil here. See if we can get it to load. Okay. So, crude oil. Let's go ahead and just get rid of today's session. And you can adjust everything within here. So the first thing we're going to come over to is drawing tools here. We're going to select drawing tools, come right down to volume profile. Market for crude oil opens up at 8 a.m. So we're going to select 8 a.m. And we're going to run this thing right over. Whoops, a little too far. Right to our close. And it's as simple as that. Now, everyone does it differently. Some people run the full 24-hour session. You can absolutely do that. I watch 24 sessions all the time. We were looking at crude oil earlier this morning, and we actually remember we opened it up for every day that it's traded in this range here lately. And that's kind of how we got these ideas, these levels that came into play. Points of control, we kind of figured some ideas through that as well. So you can set your profile any way you would like. Awesome. Glad we were able to go over that one. And at this point, taking a quick glance over at the news, while we touched on news, moving closer to stimulus deal. So apparently Pelosi is downplaying her Tuesday deadline, so maybe she's open to a little bit more of a conversation there and extending things. Maybe we'll get more information tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. Just looking over here at Tesla, continues to slip a little bit, but still $422 a share. And our VIX continues to stay a little higher, but we're not surprised by this. VIX is down or up just under 30, 29.5. No shocker, though, really. We're getting closer 2 weeks from election. Things are ramping up. Things are getting tense. I went and voted today, actually. Felt pretty good to do my civil duty there. And so that's all getting ramped up. Earnings continuing to come in. We'll have more tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, like I said, crude oil number at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. That's really all we're going to see tomorrow. We'll have Beige Book at 1 p.m. Central Time. And then at this point, this date in history. We got a couple for this date in history. Nothing too crazy, but first one I had was 1973, the Sydney Opera House opened. We've all seen that iconic building. And just about as many postcards and videos as you can imagine. And then I think I thought I had one more. Yes, 1962. President Kennedy starts to secretly plan the blockade of Cuba in 1962. All right, guys. At this point, I'm going to sign on out of here. I got to give John Hoagland a call, see how he's doing. Maybe he'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully he is. Love to see his face back here. If not, hopefully soon. So I got to give him a call. And other than that, I'm going to let you guys get going. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Trade well.